This video is sponsored by Puppetswar. The idea of magnetising miniatures has always filled me with a weird sense of dread and anxiety. Don't know why. I see people do it all the time. I'm really appreciative of the effort and time that's involved in doing it, but personally for me, I just rather glue them in. In fact, the last time I magnetised something, which was years ago, it was a Valkyrie, magnetised the wings and everything. Someone dropped it in one world and then happily and kindly glued it all back together for me, so it seemed quite pointless. So when Puppetswar approached us to do a video based on their new hero, which is the Striker Ultimate Hero set, that's massively customizable and full of magnets and everything can be swapped out and this, that and the other, I was very eager, but also a little bit apprehensive because I don't do it all the time. So in this video, we're gonna have a crack at magnetising some characters and then painting one up and just show you how cool it is and what you can do with it. So at first glance, gluing a magnet to an arm or a head fitting and then doing the same thing for another attachment seems pretty straightforward, right? Simple. But it's not that straightforward, as those magnets are tricksy little buggers, and if you get it in the wrong way round, your customization becomes kaput. I tried a few things like painting one side of the magnet stash so I knew which was the positive and negative side, but then I realised I have to do that every time I took a magnet off, and that would just be a massive pain in the butthole. In the end, after some playing around, my best approach was to glue a magnet onto an area like the back, as you can see here, and then let it dry. Then place another magnet on top of that, add a little bit of glue to the top of it, drop it on, and then place my option, so whatever that will be, like a banner or something, on this freestanding magnet that's slightly loose, and then place it on and then swiftly slide it away. And then it's just a matter of rinse and repeat. Now, disclaimer, there were a few hiccups here and there where the magnet flipped the wrong way round because I wasn't observant enough. But in the end, once you get a good flow going, it becomes a lot more straightforward and easier. Honestly, I wasn't expecting to be this much fun or rewarding, but by the end, I really actually like the choice of characters we have now.
Patrick here, just interrupting to say a quick word about this video sponsor, Puppetswar. Puppetswar create awesome 3D models that you can download and print yourself, but don't worry, if you don't have a printer, you can buy resin minis directly from them as well. They've got strikers, orcs, and bugs that you can get your hands on to either play their own game or proxy into your own armies. Their main design philosophy is to help people make their models unique and, if possible, enable customization using magnets. Awesome. They have new monthly releases on Patreon, or you can join the tribe over on My Mini Factory with new models from their 3 main factions every month. In their August release, they've got a Recon Enforcer, a Spider Brain Bug, and some Orc Flesh Busters. By joining up, you will receive access to the monthly release, a welcome pack, and a 40% discount code on previous releases available on My Mini Factory or Patreon. And you get a 15% code for the Puppetswar.eu shop. So if you're interested in these awesome miniatures, please check out the links in the description. Back to the video.
So with all those magnetisation bits glued in, we're now just going to go off and paint it. I'm going to go for a nice red colour scheme because we've been asked a few times about doing some red superpowered warriors. So we're just going to go off and do that in a nice, simple, straightforward paint guide with some tabletop bits and then up to like some extra steps as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is spray this model with Vampire Red because it's a beautiful red and it covers really nice. Then I'm just going to get some Targor Raid Shade and shade that all over. Whilst it's on, a little tip I got from Richard Gray is just add a little bit of water or medium whilst it's on, just to spread it around a bit so it doesn't pull too much. Just be mindful and keep an eye out for like where it gets into those recesses and pulls quite heavily. Just soak that up. Then it's a matter of tying up those raised areas. For this, I started off by doing a dry brush. So I've got some blood red and then just dry brushed over those raised areas. Blood red's quite good actually because it's very similar to Vampire Red in tone. Then I'm going to do the same thing and highlight with burnt orange. So a light, soft dry brush just on the edges just to pick them out a bit more. Gives it a bit of a roughness as well, which is great because it gives it a bit of a battle-worn effect. Then we're going to pick out all the black details with Black Legion. So the cloak, like gun casings, there's like joints in some of the armor. I'm also going to paint over anything that I want metallic as well. So that goes in all the recesses so I don't have to go in all the cracks. It just makes it a lot easier because it flows really nice. For any golds, I'm just going to base coat these with bronze. You should only need one coat really, but if you need a second, just go over it with a bit more of a thin coat. Then for any silver details, so that's like the weapons, working parts on the guns, and also those tubes around the back and underneath his armpits. For this, I'm going to be using oily steel. And then to finish off, I'm going to get some Targor Raid Shade. I'm going to apply that over both the gold and the silver. It'll make the silver look a bit more sort of weathered and used, but also is a great shade for the gold as well. So we've got our model up to a tabletop standard, so you're ready to play games with it. If you want to, get it based at this point that matches your army. However, if you want to add some extra love to it, stay tuned because we're just going to highlight him up. So our first extra step is going to be highlighting the black cloak and also the gun casings too. For this, we're going to be using ash grey. I like to do scratchy highlights on things like cloth and even armour because you don't have to be super neat with your highlights, but it makes it look a bit more worn and tattered, especially for armour. It looks a bit battered and bullet ridden or whatever. So it just means you don't have to be super neat. Then I'm going to do the same with graphite, just a little bit higher on some of those raised folds, just for a bit more definition. Again, just going for like slightly thinner scratches. If you need to, I've not done it here, but you can always thin down some Black Legion and apply it as a glaze if those highlights are too stark. Then we're going to move on to highlighting the armour. For this, I'm going to be using burnt orange, and again, following the same process I did with the cloak, just going to be a bit more tatty about it, so it just looks like he's been in battle for a while. And then the last thing I'm going to do is just get some frost art and then just apply that over the blade. If you didn't want blue and you wanted a different colour, get a green or a red or a purple. It's up to you. And if you follow this all the way through, now's the time to base your model. As you can see here, I've done a nice ashy grey base for mine. And give him some dirty greaves too. So the thing we did after we painted this model was we painted some extra bits. So we did another body with different heads, different weapon options. And for this one, I went for a samurai theme because it looked cool. Painted it red, so it looks like my favourite historical character, Thomas Cruise. Because he's mega in Last Samurai. And why not introduce my favourite samurai into this model? So it's very interchangeable, and those will work on the model we've already painted. So we've got multiple heads here, we've got multiple left hands, multiple right hands, and obviously some back bits as well. There's so many options, so many things that we just didn't have time to paint, but they are mega, like wings and flags, sashimonos, jetpacks, hammers, someone giving you the middle finger, flipping the bird, I think it's called. So there we have it. We've magnetised so many different options. We've got a model painted. The great thing with Puppetswar is they give you all the relevant size magnets for all the relevant holes that are pre-drilled into these models or pre-designed into these models. So it just takes a lot of the headache away. So if you are after doing some cool customization for like sci-fi warriors, these are the guys to do it with. As always, thank you for watching. Don't forget to the like and subscribe buttons, and massive thank you to our patrons. You guys rock. Without your support, we won't be able to do this mad stuff. So thank you all. Thank you Puppetswar, and thank you for watching. I'm going to drink some tea and eat some Audi Oreos. Is it Audi Oreos? Neos they're called. Oh, they are from the Matrix apparently. We've got Matrix Oreos. Awesome. See you later.